Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage. Funny, we got a great show lined up for you. I'm Harvey Freed. To the right of me, the best, Becky Alley.
Happy Saturday, everybody. It's a beautiful day. We might get some storms, but who cares because it's sunny right now.
It's always sunny here in the studio, and I said great show. I'm just excited for this show. We brought in Totally Maintained Home Services. Asaf and Matt, thank you guys for coming in. You're fantastic. We're going to be bragging about Totally Maintained Home Services and what they do and why you should be hiring these kind of folks, and especially these guys. And then, of course, Jason Childs joins us from Keller Williams Showcase. Hey, Jace.
How you doing?
We know. Hey, I like that. He's got his radio voice, too. Jace, we have met before. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm like, I didn't know he was in the parking lot. I was like, sir, I handed him my keys, actually, Becky, and he looked at me strange, but...
You're like, just here.
And
get in the car, carry my bags, cool.
It's because I dress like a valet.
No, you got the Keller Williams on.
I do.
All right, we're going to be talking mortgages, real estate. And Becky, I love this topic of not only getting your house dressed up for an open house, to sell it, to show that you've always maintained your property, but to enjoy it while you are living there.
Yeah, I mean, they actually came out to my house yesterday and gave me a little bit of a dose of their services, how they handle things. They went above and beyond when they're out there. It was really short, but I just had them do a power wash on my house just because it's that vinyl siding. It hasn't been done since I've owned the property, and it really brightened it up. I was planning on painting it, and I could probably put it off for another year now. And then he even found, I have a pool in the backyard, and there's, you know how like sometimes the stones create rust spots? He pulled out this magic sauce or whatever he had in his truck.
Oh, he's got the sauce.
Yeah, and it just, these little rust stains that happen from the rocks and whatever happens with the rain totally disappeared, and I was completely impressed with everything they did.
That's great stuff. Gentlemen, I'm definitely going to get you in the conversation here, but, I talked about it a few weeks ago. I threw that power wash in my hand. That thing's addicting, man. It works really well, and it really changes whatever you're working on. But besides the power washing, let's talk about a couple of the services you guys are offering.
Yeah, so we clean windows. We make sure your house is washed. We make sure your roof is washed. We take care of your dryer vent. We go inside. We flush your hot water heater, clean out your AC coils so that the air conditioning works efficiently. Take care of your refrigerator coils, all kinds of stuff. Help you maintain your home. So while you're living there, you're enjoying it. It's safe. We change the batteries in your smoke detector and your little remote on the side of your garage and lubricate your garage door. So anything and everything for the house.
Matt, definitely love that truck outside too. You guys are a professional company. I mean, not only do you wear, you got the clothes and you got all the what do you call it? The gear. You got the gear. Yeah. You got the good gear. But
they have the machines too. You should have seen what he pulled out of that truck. It looked like something like out of the Ghostbusters. I was like, what is this? it looked good, but like they, but to that point, like what you're describing is those little things that you don't think about every day, that like you maintain your property you maintain your car, right? It's going to go further if you're constantly changing the oil. But people don't think about the refrigerator coils. When I saw their list of services, like, you know what? I don't even think that's ever been done. And you can make these refrigerators and everything else last longer. But part of that goes with selling your properties. And if you're trying to do an open house, like let's just say if I was going to show my house like this weekend, you made it mindless, and it would make my house present so much better than it would if I would do nothing at all.
That's dollars in your pocket if you're a seller out there. And, there are some listening agents, Chase, I'll bring you in this conversation because there are some agents. I walked up to some open house. I'm like, hey, what about this? Don't you want to clean this up? You get a lot more money for the house. It blows my mind sometimes that some of the stuff's not done. But it takes a lot of guts to be a stand-up listing agent and to really tell the folks what they need to hear. And at the end of the day, that's going to put more money in their pocket.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, a better maintained home, something that has more curb appeal. Because a lot of times that first impression is the basic. You got to walk up and see something that looks nice. If you don't, you're kind of turned off, even if you look inside and it looks great,
Yeah, the fear of missing out always jumps up on us, and we're like, wait a minute, they're all standing out wide of this open house. There could be maybe nothing in the inside. It can, it could be from the 1950s, untouched, old stuff, old, but you got the landscaping look really tight outside, and that's going to create some excitement. Like you said, your first impression really goes a long way. It's like dating.
Well, landscaping is expensive. So like once you're a homeowner, you kind of realize like the cost of things. And when you are walking up to a house for the first time, like when I see someone with like a stamped patio or like they got like, like just well maintained and how it looks, I'm like, oh, that's big money. That is big money on how the front looks sometimes. If you have exposed concrete that is sealed, that makes a difference. And that is money that you as a seller or you as a new buyer, you don't have to put into that house. And if someone is taking care of the exterior, the interior is probably a little bit better maintained as well. And, we have appraisers on all the time. And sometimes there's a difference of the house appraising and not appraising. It's just something as simple as nice paint on the walls. Like, it doesn't take a lot to go a long mile. And I feel like right now the buyers, when we talk to them, they lack vision, right? It's hard for people to walk into a house and see it for themselves and see what it looks like or what it could look like or move this wall. But like when you have that person kind of already set it up for you, that's what's the difference between you getting multiple offers on properties.
Yeah, and I think you've removed the imagination that's required to see that a house is maintained. So if you walk up and it's got great curb appeal, the buyer doesn't have to have an imagination that it's possible to maintain the house. They know that it is possible because it is. It's clean. The sidewalks are all done. You know that there isn't an area that gets a lot of mold because it's already been cleaned.
Yeah, and that's coming from experience. Even okay, so the house that I bought, it was an elderly couple. I think they're like the second or first owner.
It's newer though. It was built in the 90s?
Yeah, 90s, yeah. But it was, their color choices were less than, great. There was popcorn singing as far as the eye can see, but I knew
that stuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
It
got gone. It got gone.
Okay,
but
good.
I knew that property was well maintained. They took pride. The grass was green. It was... you could tell they cut it probably 2-3 times a week. I mean, it was just like golf course grass at the time, and the windows were perfect. They even, changed out a door wall just because the door on the private inspection, it wasn't aligning correctly, right? So that alone let me look past all the little imperfections or the little cosmetic things because I knew it had good bones. It had brand new water heater, appliances, the gutters, everything else. And that's where that little itty bitty, teeny tiny details go the long way for the longevity of a property, for sure.
I like that idea that you guys also do that. You drain the water heaters, which I've never done before.
Yeah, there's like little things you don't even think about.
No, and every time I have to replace it, the guy's like, yeah, you never drained this. And I'm like, huh? It used to only be $750 to $950 to get a 50-gallon replacement on hot water heater. Those are $1,800 now.
Keep going.
So maybe go ahead and spend that money and you end up getting 2-3 years life more out of it.
Oh, at least. And when we flush a hot water heater, we basically start draining it. And while we're draining it, we pump air into it and basically agitate all the sediment at the bottom. And then all that sediment comes out, which makes it work more efficiently. It doesn't have to work as hard. So you get more time out of it because it hasn't done all the work that it would have been doing with all that sediment at the bottom.
Okay, so I have a question about that. So my sister was complaining about how her water heater, right? She's like, the kid, she's like, oh my God, it takes so long for the water to get hot. So if someone flushes that, is that like where it's going to help that?
It should help a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, that is.
I'm like, Rachel, come get your hot water tank flushed.
That's all you got to do. Health and safety issues come up into this. And again, we talked about the mold and stuff. And and thanks, guys. You're going to be coming out to one of the houses that my family's involved with. The whole side, because this house I built in 2002. The whole right side of the house has that green mold growing.
North side of the house always.
It doesn't get right. It doesn't get the
direct sunlight.
And you could walk up to it and just sort of swipe, and you can see you could really clean it. But that can grow into something even nastier. So health reasons on why to remove the nastiness in your house. And then you said the refrigerator line. Everyone in the car right now is going, oh my gosh, I have never touched that before. Now you've got the filter on your refrigerator, but that line is nasty.
And underneath the refrigerator, all the coils. So we will take the grate off or take the grate off the back and we vacuum out all those coils. The amount of dirt and hair, right? Fun fact, 70% of dust in your house is your skin. So all that stuff is everywhere. Right? Right. And so we vacuum all that up and that makes the refrigerator not have to work so hard.
Things like that, including the dryer vents. Yeah, your list is endless here. And I'm just like, every time I read one, I'm like, yeah, I need that. The dryer, definitely, though. It's nonstop. And you might clean that little part on the outside of your house, that vent, but there's stuff in the tubing. And that's a fire hazard. And it's very dangerous and stuff. So I love the idea that we're reaching out to some folks here and talking about maintaining a property, creating your, really helping your own game plan at the end of the day. Your appreciation is going to go up. These are dollars well spent so that you're able to present the house when it's time to sell it and also maybe live a nice, healthy life in these homes. All right, 248-539-9797. We're going to bring in, we got a lot of real estate talk here. Becky, what's going on across the country with inventory? I wrote down some information here. I'll go to it, but let's go to the expert, Jace. It feels like there is more inventory out there. I just drove by a couple houses this morning, and I was like, whoa, that one hasn't sold. That one hasn't sold. But as I told you, Jace, last night, there's one on the canal near me, and sure enough, the U-Haul truck was there because they were top-notch real estate agents, but I was like, what's going on with that house? It's been on the market for 4 months. So tell me a little bit about the inventory. What you're seeing out there?
So the average market time right now is about 35, 40 days. So that's average. That means that it's not flying off the shelf within the first week. You're not getting multiple offers most of the time, unless it's really well maintained. And you've got something. Sorry, there I am. You just said,
I knew you were going to. Don't worry. You can clear it all day.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm the clear the throat guy.
It's okay.
So anyway, the market is slowing down a little bit, but it's still, if you've got a well-maintained, nice house, they sell quick.
There you go. And again, it could be dated, but if it's clean, it's all coming together now. That's why I was pretty excited about having these guys in. So 35 days off the market. Usually a house hits the listing, Beck, and then if there's not a lot of action on it in the first 2 weeks, most of the agents will tell me, Harvey, it's usually because I can't convince them that, look, I can only get X amount of dollars. Usually it's a price situation when the house is 2 to 3 weeks because there's plenty of buyers out there. I mean, we have a plethora of buyers out there.
Well, what I think I see is a lot of people, because of the old market, are afraid to make an offer that's less than what the asking price, or just a little bit. Nobody wants to make that lowball offer, So people that you might adjust it 10, 15 grand, and then you might get 2 or 3 offers. But it's one of those guys that, why don't you just make that offer when it's priced a little bit higher? That's what I don't understand.
Well, some of it is like the market is going to dictate the price, right? So if you're not getting a lot of offers, it's sometimes because it is overpriced. And, that's why when you have experienced agents like yourself, it's going to put you in a situation where you're not afraid to make those offers. This market's a little bit everything, Harvey. I feel like, and we talked about a couple times where, you're seeing concessions right now. We're seeing, like the sellers are, taking care of the maintenance and like the FHA repairs, which we can talk about that again because it's all about maintaining that property when we come back.
More win-win situations for buyers and sellers. 248-539-9797. It's a Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. We'll be right back. Already 8:15. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Yeah, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by CMG Home Loans, NMLS 1820, Equal Housing Lender. Special guests today, Asaf and Matt Marks, of course, from Totally Maintained Home Services, and Jason Childs from Keller Williams, the Showcase office over there off of Union Lake Road over there, right? You're not too far from me.
Yeah, Union Lake and Commerce.
Always talk about inventory on the show and what's going on here, and that's one of the things. I've got a lot of pre-approved buyers. There's definitely some buyers out there. So as you mentioned, that the homes, these good homes, yeah, that's the word on the street. Our 25th year of doing the show, when your house is up to snuff, it dazzles people. And the folks, Becky, we run into this quite a bit, is sometimes they miss out on that house, and a lot of the agents are using this, Chase. They're like, hey, Harvey, I got to let them lose one or two houses before they figure things out.
Oh, for sure.
But those move-in ready homes, those are the multiple offer ones, and those are the ones that are flying off the shelf.
Yep. And I always see the ones that have contingencies. That's kind of interesting because you got the people that come in with cash, and then you got the people that have to sell their house. And, pre-approvals are great, but it's which one do you choose? Is it how much money they put down? Is it the person who overbids? There's definitely different situations that you want to look at when making that offer.
Call the professionals to definitely do their due diligence to get that.
Cash isn't always king, though. I mean, because even if you do a cash deal, it's still 2 weeks, and you can run, a mortgage same as cash and net your seller more money. But I feel like that runs sometimes where people think, oh, well, it's cash, so like they're showing up with duffel bags of Benjamins, and it's not like that. You're not getting a briefcase at the closing table with a, like flapping it open like in the movies. It doesn't happen like that at all.
No, and that's what I always tell my sellers is you don't need to take the cash deal if you're going to net more money. Because if you're going to net more money with an offer that's an appraisal that it's going to appraise, then just take the more cash.
Yeah, and that's where like a strong pre-approval and who you're getting pre-approved from matters. Because there's a lot of my agents, like we talk about this sometimes, we're not the first call, right? And I know that you guys understand that.
Right.
Sometimes you're not the first call, but we're going to be the last. We're the ones that you call in when something is going crazy, and we're here to fix it because someone was running around with a pre-approval that wasn't worth the ink it was printed on. And that's a real problem right now because there are some, and it's no knocking everyone. Everyone starts in the business at some point in time, but there's a lot of really inexperienced loan officers out there. They rely on their processors to find the problem, or Chat GPT, or whatever's happening out there to find the math calculations for the income. And you got to really know your stuff right now because the guidelines are ever changing. What FHA, how they calculate their income, that is changing as well because all it takes is them getting burned on a couple mortgages and everything changes within the guidelines that you're going to qualify a buyer from in the future.
And the prices are putting everybody at their limits. So as a good mortgage lender, you're trying to figure out what their actual limit is, where they're comfortable, trying to make sure that they're authorized to spend money that they can handle.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. That is correct because the truth of the matter is people are overextended. Affordability has continued to be an issue for everybody, and people are overextended. And when you're qualifying for these mortgages, people are really pushing the envelope. I can say you qualify for $200,000. Next thing I know, they're saying, well, I really like this 210 house.
Right.
So you have to kind of always pull people back and say, depending on what the taxes are, and yeah, you might qualify for it today because you're buying grandma's house and taxes are $2,500. But what happens when those taxes uncap? If a loan officer is not having that deep dive conversation with the buyer in the next 12 months, now they're having $6,000 taxes, and now they're really overextended if it's not a dual income household.
Yeah, some of the clients, this is an old thing I used to do with is, and after 35 years, this is one of the things, what are you paying in rent? Well, Harvey, I'm paying $1,200. Well, if your new house payment's going to be $1,700, that's $500 difference. You don't have $6,000 saved up over the last 12 months. Just that alone. And then some people have different reasons why. So that affordability thing is key. What house payment are you used to making? Because Becky, you said it earlier. We like to do a lot of mortgages. We like to close a lot of homes, right, Jason? We like to close.
For sure.
But we need our families to definitely be comfortable and make sure that the house isn't a burden for them, that they really are enjoying this type of lifestyle and building equity and not killing themselves every day just to make that payment.
Yeah, so like if you're renting, right, anyone that's renting, right, there's nothing wrong with renting. Everything serves a purpose, right? But renting isn't the long game, right? Think about renting as like practice for like the the actual real game day, right? You get used to making those payments, right? If I'm paying $2,500 or $1,500, okay, can I maintain my life? Can I save money? Can I get where I'm trying to go with what I'm at right now? And then if the answer is yes, well, then it's really easy once you're ready to get qualified for a mortgage to reverse engineer that and say, okay, if you're comfortable with $2,500 or $1,500, well, then we know that we can keep you. I can find a price point for there where you can not only pay all your bills, the also bills that don't show up on the credit report, like your cable, your DT, all that stuff, but also save a dollar or two, because we don't want anyone to be in a situation where they are married to their house and not their spouse.
And people should budget 1% of the value of their home for upkeep and maintenance.
Like the maintenance guy stepping
Yes,
in now. So
stepping in.
A $300,000 house. Yeah, you got to save up $3,000 a year. You didn't do anything this year, but now you've got $6,000 the next year. Now, if you need that new furnace, you're close to getting that covered.
And you need the HVAC guy to come every year and maintain your furnaces, and you need us to come and clean your gutters, or you do it yourself. But you need to get all these things done. You need to budget the time and the resources to do that.
Harry said it last week, actually. One of the things is in the lending world, we like to talk about, hey, when this refi boom comes, you're going to be able to save some money. We've gotten off that a lot recently because you have to be comfortable with today's payment.
Yeah.
There's nothing that says for sure that if they even replace Jerome Powell, the Fed chief right now, the Fed chairman, there's nothing written that says the next person is going to be, hey, I'm going to lower Fed funds rate. We're going to drop these mortgage rates. It doesn't work that way.
No.
And the mortgage rates aren't specifically correlated.
They're not high right now. They're really not. I mean, they're in the
High
mid sixes.
Yeah, you can get a little mid six if you want to even pay something a little bit. Yeah, you can get in the sixes.
It's just that like the whole, I don't know where people think the rates are going to go. At best, I think we might see high fives, but the 2s, the 3s that we saw in 2020, again, we can't preach that enough. That was a falsified lowering. It was forced down.
Right.
It was controlled. It was manipulated.
1 million people had to die to get that.
And everybody talked about the fact that over the last couple of weeks, right, with everything that's going on with Jerome Powell, and he's still going to be in through May, and everybody else is still, the economy is really red hot. And if rates go down, they might go down a half a point, maybe a point. They're not going to, and that's the Fed funds rate. There's compression in both directions, right? When there's a move, there is compression.
Of course, your son's going to Michigan.
You know
You're
what?
pretty smart guy,
Yes.
so I like that. You're jumping
Look
in
at
the
you,
mortgage
like
side.
adding to this economic
Give me the
talk.
power washer. You can write mortgages. Like, I'm power washing people's homes.
But he actually has a little bit of an engineer background.
And I have
that.
an MBA.
Of course you do.
Yes, he knows all the things. That's why we had a great conversation as he was like, getting the things done. And we don't bring just anyone in the studio with us, right? And the fact that you offer the services because it was very important for both of you, for me to actually be on air and really speak on what your services are like. How are you approaching your customers? Because we're going to endorse you, to our listing agents and our buyers agents. And if someone's like, hey, I need to do XYZ, I know I can call you guys now and be like, hey, we have this situation. How quickly you guys can get, can you get out there? Because it matters who you work with. Everyone's got a guy, right? Or a woman, right? Everyone's got like, hey, yeah, I got a guy for that. I got a girl for that. Yeah, I got a guy.
I got a guy.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, but again, who you work with matters. And when you know that you have an asset in your portfolio that's going to perform the way that I saw you guys perform, that means something. And people ask me all the time, who's this, who's that, who do you have for this? And I proudly will give you guys this information.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
We go above and beyond. We try, like we were talking yesterday, we try and leave time in the schedule in case of emergencies. We try to make sure we budget our time so that we can tell you that we're going to be there within about an hour. We're not showing up within noon to 5. It's usually between 1 and 2 or 1. We try and make sure that the utmost quality, and we try and make it affordable for everybody. We have all these packages where we say, hey, we'll come out one time, we'll take care of these 6 things for you, and because it's only one trip, you only have to take one time off of work. It's easy for you, and it saves money for all of us because we're not driving out there 3 different times to take care of the 6 different things.
I love the home maintenance schedule. And everything you're saying is so fantastic. So there's monthly maintenance, there's quarterly, semi-annual, and annual maintenance. And like you said, there's packages all set up, again, totally maintained. You can go to www.totallymaintained.com, 248-297-3485. Call us at Capital Mortgage Funding. We always get you hooked up with the great vendors we have on the show, and more importantly, all the top real estate agents like Jason Child, who joins us today from Keller Williams. Jay says we'll get you back into the conversation in our next segment a little bit more as we continue to talk about inventory and truly what's going on out there with offers, sellers vibes, and just where is this market going to go? Some of the agents told me, hey, well, Harvey, I got a little slow. And that some people are expecting, Jace, I'll go there with you real quick. Is this going to be a busy fall in August? I feel like it's coming.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to move in right before school, So I think we're getting there where you got to get your offer accepted if you're going to get there before school starts. So,
and some empty nesters, they don't even have that situation, but there are some folks building new construction homes. These homes might not be done until October or November, so they're going to be looking to sell also. And a lot of families over there, like Matt, we're going to get you to become a homeowner real quick over there.
One of these days.
All right. All right, when we come back, we're up against a quick break here. Remember, it's a sports station. That's right. We're going to be talking baseball this afternoon. Pat Caputo, he's coming up to join us after our show and a whole lot more. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. All righty, welcome back to the show. It's 8:30 on a gorgeous Saturday morning, July 19th, 2025. That's right, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 25th year. Trying to save you folks some money and help you make some great decisions. Got a great show here Obviously, 30 minutes into it, Jason Childs, Keller Williams Showcase.
Yes,
and, of
sir.
course, the guys from Totally Maintain Home Services. There's so much going on that you guys handle. I'm surprised, actually, we haven't had you on before because it's so important nowadays with if you don't have a house that's been updated recently, if your house is lingering on the market, there's something going on, folks. It could be, something nasty like smells. It could be that shipping pain. It could be that first impression. You're walking up. Walk up to your own driveway or walk up to your own front door today, and take a look. Or get.
That's why I called. I walked up I've been traveling often and frequently recently, and I walked up. I was at home for a second. I actually looked at my front house and I was like, "What is this abomination?" So I was like, anybody come and help me. And there they were, like Superman.
We cleaned out a dryer vent this week that had a bird's nest in it.
Oh, Lord.
And the
What?
dryer
Oh,
vent
God.
louvers were closed, and they had built a nest inside the dryer vent.
Kept them warm.
And so these people were, hey, we need your help. The dryer really isn't working very well. We went out. I take the louvers off. I'm like, oh my God, now I know why your dryer's not working.
Let's roll off to a call. We got Linda calling in from West Bloomfield. Good morning, Linda. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. I know you're talking a lot about real estate also, but I do have a question in relation to the guy who's talking about maintenance. Furnace filters. First of all, how much do you really need to spend on those things? There's, $50, $60 a filter or more, and then there's $10 a filter. And second of all, how often do you need to change them in reality? What's the best way for me to maintain my furnace when it comes to that?
Sure. So I think from a furnace perspective, what's ideal for energy savings and your air quality, you're balancing those two things. So if you're going to buy a MERV 13 filter versus a MERV 11 or 8, depending on that, you would want to change them more often or less often. And so we have customers that change furnace filters monthly, and we have customers that change them. I think the bookends are probably between monthly and biannually. You'd want to change it seasonally is probably ideal, every 3 months. And then depending on your allergy situation, whether you're really sensitive to particulates, you'd want to go with a high-end, expensive filter, a MERV 13.
Filter out those allergens.
Yeah, filter out the allergens.
What does MERV mean?
I don't know. It's a rating for the amount of filtration.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the higher the rating, the more filtration there is.
Right,
I know
and
my-
the ones that filter more have to be replaced more because
Yes.
they're collecting more.
Correct, and they'll block
Versus your
your
nasal
furnace
passage.
from blowing air. So think about that. They're more restrictive. So if you want, if you're not very allergy sensitive, you'd want a MERV 8, and you'd want to replace it every 3-6 months. And if you're really allergy sensitive, you'd want a MERV 13, and you'd want to replace it every month.
See, I always replace it when my kids start sneezing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good time when the seasons change. The list is endless here. And you mentioned, again, we talked about health and safety, but a couple of them, clean your gutters. That's a huge one. And one of the things is because of living in Michigan with the different seasons, we get those leaves, and now it creates some gutter issues. And now we got that water. Instead of hitting those downspouts and going away, diverting it away from the home, it's hitting the crawl.
Right.
It's hitting the crawl. It's hitting your slab. It's hitting your basement.
It's rotting your wood. We constantly so when the water builds up because the gutters are clogged, then they have weight that's pulling them away from the house. Those nails are all popping.
Yeah.
That's the stuff you see when your gutters aren't clean. And we have people who clean them basically seasonally. So clean them in the spring, get ready for the summer, clean them in the fall. But if you have a lot of trees, you should get your gutters cleaned.
All right, there are these leaf gutter protectors. Do these things work? Because I think we got some.
I
work.
believe they do.
Okay.
But our experience is that if you get the ones that are just the grating that's over it, then the stuff just collects on top. So it doesn't go in the gutter. It's maybe easier to clean. I do think leaf guards are a thing and they work. Just shop around and make sure you get the type that would work best for what you have coming down.
I don't know what you don't do because let me just read the list, and then if anyone's listening, you go, yeah, I haven't even checked on that. So you got like turning on and off the sprinklers. Of course, you got to do that in the fall and in the springtime, and then inspect the roof and the siding, screens. everything. Replace caulking, weather stripping, paint the exterior, pressure washing, everything.
Yeah,
Make
those
them
are
look
all
right.
things you
Crazy.
should do, and we're happy to help with.
I love the checklist here. Anyways, if you're interested, definitely give us a call either at our office at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank, or here in the studio. We take all your calls at 248-539-9797. Becky, mortgage rates, really nothing crazy the last week. Less drama is good for us. On the other hand, things have been steady pretty much for all of 2025.
Yeah, I mean the buyers are more savvy right now, and I feel like everyone has kind of digested the fact that the rates have settled where they're at, and it makes it a little bit easier for us as a mortgage lender to identify those payments. And like we were talking about, on the last segment, it's important for you to afford what you can afford now. If and when the rates eventually do reduce to whatever they're going to, if there's an opportunity to refinance, we can always slide that down. But the odds of that happening, or when that does happening, most of the time people are looking to pay off debt. So even though like they might be at a 6.5 right now, and let's just say the rates go down to 5.5, when that happens, most calls that we're going to be getting are going to be cashing out to help maintain some of those credit card debts that they had to pull out or take care of. I also get a lot of calls for right now people want to upgrade their homes and they don't want to use their liquid reserves, so they have equity in the home, therefore going these lower interest rates. And either taking, if a home equity line of credit doesn't make sense, we're doing cash out refinancing to not only pay off debt, but also help them better maintain their home, make it livable, make it where they want it, they're enjoying the space a little bit better. So, when the refinance moment happens, a lot of it isn't going to be reducing payments. It's just going to be reallocating how the funds are used to better offset and reset the baseline for a lot of people, because I feel like I see a lot of that even happening right now.
I saw this week there's $14 trillion that people have in equity in their homes in this country.
Yes.
So people have a lot of money and have access to it. The question is, are they going to get it at these rates or not? And it's a good opportunity. You shouldn't be paying 25% interest to your Amex.
But people do. That's what's funny is they will clinch their pearls and be like, what? The mortgage rates are 6.5%.
Yeah.
What is this? But then they're paying 29% on their Amex just so they can get those Sky Miles. It's wild. Or 7% on a $60,000 car loan is $1,000. That is a mortgage payment to some people. Yeah. And, some of these people are renting and they're paying that for their cars. And so, and I do think that the rates reduce, it's going to affect the short-term lending, like your car loans. That's where people are a little bit finding it's a little bit more insufferable. But when you talk about the equity in people's home, it also goes into that conversation of the individuals that are waiting for these housing market to crash. That's not happening because the ingredients just are not there, because most people have the equity in their home because these are well-qualified mortgages. Everything in the lending industry has been built around never to repeat, as so long as anyone can help it, a 2008, 9, 10.
Right.
So it's just, there's equity in the home. These are well-qualified mortgages. They're tightening up how the income is done. If you're not working 40 hours, you're considered variable. And we're going down to 2023 income, and that's what they're going to make you use. Even though you maybe got a raise in 2025, they're being ultra conservative right now with income, and affects the affordability again of what kind of price point you're qualifying for. So that's why you have to be in alignment with a really good loan officer and a lending institution that's going to see these things and not overextend your budget where you're in a situation where you're not affording the home.
Build some equity, definitely.
Yeah.
It's still very affordable here, and there's lots of different price ranges. I'll a little salute out there to my buddy Jeff in case he's listening. Closed it on Wednesday on a really cute, again, out of a rental situation now, homeowner. Now he can build equity. He's got the write-offs if he needs it. But the best part about it was, Beck, families that don't know how much it takes to get into a house, but you're going to love this one. It was a $155,000 house, nice little starter home to get you going. Total out of pocket, $1,000 earnest money deposit, and brought $1,575, maybe $3,000 total out of pocket. I don't gloss anything over.
2%.
I'm talking about $500, $475 an appraisal. An earnest money of $1,000, that's $1,500. Brought $1,575 to the closing. That included a compliance fee too, of $495. So it's affordable to become a homeowner, whether it be the down payment assistance program, the MISHDA program, National Faith. Becky, we got them all.
Yeah, there is. When it comes to down payment assistance, we are a force to be reckoned with. There really isn't a bond program out there that we don't have access to. When I say bond, it's something like through the state, right? Michigan.
State Housing Development Authority. I got you.
So I couldn't say that, but I'm one of the top in the state for that particular program. I'm on their website. I get a lot of calls from it. And in those situations, I mean, you can even get into a home and actually get your appraisal money back. If you have your 1% investment, if you're buying a $150,000 house, you have to have a minimum investment of $1,500. You can get concessions. You can get everything you want under the sun, and you actually can get your appraisal money back at closing as long as you meet your 1% investment. And but the thing is, you don't know what you don't know. And if you're at home or if you're listening and you think that you cannot afford to buy a home, you have to have a conversation and have it soon and have it often, because if you want to be a homeowner, even 2027, have the conversations now, because a big issue that we see right now is people think that they have to keep their credit so close to their vest, right? Because they're ashamed, or maybe they had a blemish on it or something like that. And when we look at things, a lot of times people that think they can qualify don't, and the ones that don't think they can qualify actually do. But if there's something on your credit report that can be fixed, we can identify that. We can help you get there. And a lot of times people are paying down this one credit card and it really has no significance to their credit score. We can really change the direction of your credit score within 5 business days, actually, if you just do what we tell you to do, if you can afford to pay off a certain thing, if it's a problem.
Alrighty. Hey, Jason Childs, guess what? It says 2.3 months supply of home versus 1.9 months, 12.3% increase in homes on the market. There's some inventory out there, folks.
For sure.
Buy it now. Definitely. We'll show you how to do it when we come back. 248-539-9797. Keep it here. All righty, welcome back. 8:45 if you're just joining us. 97.1 The Ticket, the sports station here in Detroit. That's right, a lot of Tiger baseball coming up tonight and sports all day long. Pat Caputo will be joining us right after the show. I think Mark's not joining him because he was on late last night. I heard some Mark Ryan last night. Tigers on a 5-game slide going the wrong way, but we're going to turn it around today. Keep those good vibes going on here in Detroit. What else is going on in the area, Becky?
I actually don't know. I'm going to my sister's wedding shower today.
Well,
I'm just like
on.
fresh out back in Michigan kind of thing. But I feel like there's always something going on in Detroit, and the Tigers are still aces. I mean,
got football coming up soon, so it's going to be exciting here definitely around the studio as football season kicks off in another couple of weeks. We got the spring training going on and tons of real estate and mortgage stuff going on here. We are the hub for it. We really are.
Yeah.
A couple of the big boxes are around here, but just really the folks like us, Becky, that are in the trenches every day, we love it. It's still exciting and fun to really work with a family and take them from just running the credit report and starting to talk about it, having that discussion, and then getting them to the closing table.
Yeah, like I often talk about, like, we're a part of these like milestone moments of helping someone turn a house into a home. And even my investors that I deal with, they never forget each time they buy a house. It's either going to be a great experience and in between experience, and we really try to strive to make it an amazing experience for everybody, even first-time home buyers where they're just doing things that they don't mean to do, like buying furniture for the house they don't own, or like we can always maneuver around those certain things. And your first time buyers too, like, I mean, it's especially with some of these programs, they take a little bit longer, but you have to set that expectation up front, because right now, like, if you're using MIJDA financing, for example, that file requires 2 underwrites. That means that we underwrite the file, then the state also underwrites the file, and you're subject to their turn time. So, like, I could submit it on a Friday and it says 6 days, and now you're up to 9 days, and that makes the file sit a little bit longer. People tend to get a little antsy because everyone wants to close in 5 minutes. So you have to just make sure we're communicating those kinds of things and setting the proper expectations. But the programs are available for the buyers, and even if you're not a first-time buyer, there are some certain cities where in zip codes where you don't have to be a first-time buyer to take advantage of this money.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually. So, the MIJDA loans, Michigan State Housing Development, they're giving you $10,000. I'll also throw in some other ones. Talking to some folks up in Lansing, and they've got their own programs up there.
Certain cities.
A lot of federal money has been given to the cities across the state of Michigan, Great Lakes here, the Great Lakes State.
And why do you think that is, everybody? Because they want you to own your own home. They do not want these investors coming in and gobbling up all the properties because there's no way to regulate rent.
Your rent never changes when you own your own home.
That's true.
Exactly.
But your landlord can change your rent. So they're trying to prevent where it's a monopoly of in other cities or other states where it's unaffordable. Like New York, forget about it. You're getting a closet for $3,000 a month. And I have a lot of clients that are moving in from out of state to Michigan because Michigan is still one of the most affordable states in our country. And we get the lakes. You drive 4 hours. You could be at Higgins Lake and it's Caribbean water, or Torch Lake, and you feel like you're, I don't know, in Jamaica or something like that. But it's, I think Michigan is underrated, but it's becoming, it's on everyone's radar.
Golf
I will say
courses
that
everywhere.
Yes, it is
bars.
definitely
We actually have the most per capita golf courses.
Yeah. And like fresh water, we are definitely on the radar because I see it because people are moving from all over our nation to come to Michigan, to be honest with you.
I think we got a caller here. Jason, are you ready to go here? Jason out in Royal Oak. Good morning and welcome to our show. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. This might be a dumb question. I'm autistic, but can you take out like a home equity loan on a cottage?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you
Cool.
can borrow money. You can borrow money just about on any residential property. Again, things were a lot tighter back. Think about that back in the day where rental property, only at 60. It was like cash out was 65% of the appraised value. You can get up to higher loan to values. Mm-hmm. And yes, if you've got great credit and you've got equity in your home, you can always unleash that equity.
Yeah, so credit comes into play. Reserves also come into play. So when I say reserves, it's, you having your own assets in addition.
Cash.
Yep. So it could be 401k. It doesn't have to be
cool.
liquid or anything like that. But yes, you can do a home equity line of credit on a second home because I just did one for a longtime client of mine. It's a family legacy property. They're going to keep in their bloodline till kingdom come and completely redoing it. And then I have another one where we're doing a new construction on a second home, total knockdown, tear down, and starting it all over from bottom up. So, I mean, anything you want to do, we have the access to do it within reason, as long as you qualify for it. So, no, that was not a silly question, my good sir.
So what can you get as a
Thank
LTV
you guys
on
so
that?
much. And what was I going to say? I don't have like good credit rating because, I'm autistic. I don't take credit. But I do have liquid cash and thank you guys for answering the question. Love you guys.
Fair enough, Chase. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. All right. Thanks for joining us there. 248-539-9797. If you want to sneak in a call, get about another 10 minutes
Well,
or so.
I want to back the bus up real quick because
Okay.
he made a comment about credit, right? So if you're trying to get financing, credit doesn't come into play. You do not have to have perfect credit though to have a conversation. So like even if you're like, like on a home equity line of credit, you are being qualified completely different than if you're doing a primary mortgage, especially if it's a second home. There's a little bit more risk involved as a lender. But if you're someone that is credit averted for whatever reason and you've been paying cash, go out there, get a credit card, buy a shirt, get the bill, pay it off. That's an easy way for you to establish credit without overextending yourself.
I also like the idea that you use that credit card, and this is a suggestion we make often in the lending world, is you're going to put gas in your car. You go to the pump, it's $40, $50 to fill up. So you're $160 or $200 a month. You're going to use cash anyways. Use that, either gas card, get that credit card, and just use it for your gas. Mm-hmm. Again, keep that money at home so when the bill comes, you're able to pay off your credit each and every month. You don't have to pay the high interest rate on it, and you're constantly showing lenders in the credit world that you're able to make these timely
because credit
payments.
is a fickle little creature, right? If you don't have it, you can't get it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And if you don't have it, it's like I said, it's hard to get. You have
It's not
to,
intuitive.
Yes.
And getting help from people like yourself.
Yeah, like you have
Figure
to,
that out.
and then
Critical.
you have to get out there and use it. And in a perfect world, you should have 2 revolving credit lines, under 43%, an installment loan like a car and a mortgage, right? That's in a perfect ideal world, right? But we don't see that. And then you have these medical collections that come out of woodwork. But anyway, we're really good at credit. It's something we take pride in helping people. So if you're thinking about qualifying, call us and we will help you establish that credit score should you need it.
Now, if you don't have a credit score, can you do like a FHA alternative credit type scenario?
Sometimes.
Yes, it depends. You have to have alternative credit. So what that means is like, do you have DT in your name? Do you have a phone bill? Do you have
the rental.
Comcast rental history? And that's the thing, is that sometimes people just don't have those things. If you are renting right now, don't pay cash. Don't pay cash. We have to have something that you can track. If you are having a phone bill and you give grandma your money and then she pays the bill, that doesn't count either. So you can have these things, but if you're not directly paying these bills, it does not count to your benefit.
I'm glad you brought that up. We haven't talked about it in a while. A lot of land contracts still out there. Again, some people have blemishes on their credit. They had to force themselves into a land contract. Not always bad. Land contract means basically the seller of the home, as you know, Jace, is the bank. So they make the terms and part of the purchase. Again, you don't need a lender for that one, but you do when you want to pay off that land contract. And all of them have balloon payments, let's say it. If they don't, come on, less than 1%. So you can't pay. You have to document this. So I love what Becky's saying. And it's not like you gave your landlord cash and then he went to the Office Depot and got the little receipt. That doesn't work. So as you're mentioning, so you want to pay in a money order. We can trace that. And there's a receipt, a real one. Cashier's checks. Personal checks, where not only do we have the hard copy of the canceled check, but also the bank statements. You have to do that to make proof to the lender that you've been paying the land contract on time. And that's 12 or 24 months in a lot of situations.
Yeah, it's at least 12 for sure, that we want to be documented, especially if you're running from someone that's private. Private equity. If it's managed by a management company and you pay online through their sources, then that's easy for us to track. But if you're paying private, don't just slip a wad of cash in their mailbox and call it a day, because then we can never document the fact that you made those payments.
Matt, we're not going to let you sit there all show.
I know, I was waiting for my time to shine, guys.
Your time to shine. All right,
shine.
man, we got to pick on you a little and get your,
I did want to mention one thing. This is great for realtors as a closing gift to your clients, not only an incentive to homeowners as well to maintain their home, but as a closing gift, as Jason would know,
for sure.
Instead of no offense to knife sets out there, but I think this is a little more incentive for you to maybe purchase this for your client as a closing gift, or as the buyer incentive to purchase the home as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Home maintenance. We were talking home maintenance. Totally maintained comment. If you're just joining the show, totally maintained. The guys are here. And this is a great, when you just said it, I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like a private, instead of the
Help
what is it,
someone
home
take care of
warranties.
their home.
Instead of
often
me
do you
giving
use
you
a
a
home warranty,
warranty,
though?
I mean, they go by and they're forgotten, aren't they?
Yeah.
But if you said to your seller, hey, look, instead of me giving you a paying for your home warranty when you sell this to make your house more attractive, what if we make your house more attractive and you actually make some money on it? I'm going to give you this gift. It's part of our listing agreement.
Yeah.
And we're going to do the gutters.
And
We're
we
gonna
discount to realtors.
It's unbelievable.
And we give referral, I'll call it bonuses. But so if you do that, we'll give you a 20% discount on the packages that you're buying for the client, the closing family.
Yeah, that's strong.
And then we also
It'll sell
put a
faster.
credit for you in our system so that you'll build up credits for all these that you've purchased, and then you can use that money towards a service.
Yeah, that's great. So you guys have a referral program,
Program.
incentive, and then obviously you bonus out to whoever's doing the referrals, which is
Correct.
That's a beautiful thing because the premium package, for example, that's dryer vent, hot water cleaning, smoke alarm tester, refrigerator coil, get the garage done, pressure wash, clean and deodorize the garage gutters, window washing, change all the HVAC filters. Come on, yes, Jesus. I mean, this is a list. So how can they find you guys?
Oh, so
Yeah.
look at us up online,
Okay.
www.totallymaintained.com. Give us a call. We have a Facebook page. So all this, the
Yep.
maintenance schedule is published on our Facebook.
And
All right, we're going to share them on our socials so that way it's easy to find.
Yeah.
All righty. Jason Chalice, thanks for joining us. Keller
Thank
Williams
you.
Showcase over there. The guys from Totally Maintained. That's right. Check us out next Saturday. We'll be back. I see Pat Caputo. He's on the On Deck Circle. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.